G'day, I'm Nicole Hope and I'm living in love and not in fear. Welcome to my channel, Ascension Through Spiritual Warfare. So, I'm back in a motel. So, the evil powers that be, they want to stall you. But you just got to go with the punches. Just take it on the chin. And, you've got divine on your side. It's all going to work out. So whatever you're manifesting, keep at it. Keep putting action in. So I got my water pump fixed, and I went out to this ghost town. And I didn't camp right in the ghost town. I sort of camped on the outskirts. And and then on Sunday, I think Sunday was the 10th of August, I came back into the town. So this ghost town's an hour away. I came back into town and got all my supplies, and it took me a while, And then I was going to visit these caves. So I stopped because it took so long in the town, I stopped at a camp. And as I pulled into it, my car stalled, but I was able to start it again with the key. And then I just drove to where I was, a camp spot, stayed the night, took the time to pack up in the morning, and then went to start the van, and she wouldn't start. So it was an all-day thing, trying to get it towed, through RACB, get it towed, line up the mechanic, line up this room, and so now I'm here. The mechanic can't look at it until Wednesday, which is tomorrow, or Thursday. So I don't know what's wrong with it. Don't know. Hope it's something simple. But anyway, while I was at this ghost town, I wanted to make this video. And this story that I'm going to tell you now is why I was led to the caves. So, anyway, so I was on the outskirts of this ghost town. So everyone goes there, homeless people travelling, and it's a free camp. So I was on the outskirts, and I went for a walk with Tully, my dog Tully, and we went up this hill, and as we were walking up this hill, there was, I could see, in rock, it was big rocks, one looked like a giant frog, and then I saw, giant crocodiles, and I could see, they were made of rock. They were rock. They turned to rock. They were ancient beings that had turned to rock. Fossilised, probably, and, dragons and all sorts of things. And I was walking up, and I could see there was these big blocks, and they look like there was a wall. It was too perfect. These rocks were stacked like a wall, that had been wrecked. But you could see, if you looked at the blocks, they were massive, big square blocks, and they were all the same. And we walked up this hill, and we could see, at these rocks, ancient beings that had been turned to stone, giants, and, other animals, and a lot of water animals, and caves as well, but only small caves. But I didn't go up to the caves. I just kept walking up this particular hill that I was going up, and then we got to the top of the hill, and and I turned around and looked back at the ghost town. And it looked like pyramids everywhere, afar, you know. Pyramids that had been, you know, grown over now, and some had the tops smashed off them. And, you know, I'm in the Australian outback, so I'm just before the desert. I think you would probably class this as a desert. And it was really windy and really hot during the day and freezing cold at night. And then when I turned around after seeing the pyramids, that I decided they were pyramids, and I turned around towards the town, which is an hour away from this ghost town, and I could see it was like a bowl, you know, and all these hills around it, and it was like in this bowl. And so, you know, we came back to the van, and I did what I had to do for the evening, and then I sort of stood outside. You know, it was, you know, the 8/8 portal, and, you know, the 9th was the full moon, and I think it was the 7th, so the day before the 8/8 portal. Around that time, anyway. I just lose track of time because it doesn't bother me what day it is. Today's Tuesday. And it's the 12th of August. And the stars came out. And I was watching the stars, and the stars I've noticed lately, because I've been looking out at the stars saying, I want to go home, I want to come home, I want to come home. You know, I'm waiting for the big stargate to go through and go home. And they're looking like closer, and they're to me, my eyes are looking at them, and they're twinkling, and they're changing colour, so, and they're bigger, you know, and some of them are not the same shape. And then they weren't coming from the stars, but all up in the sky there was like littler stars that were shooting, and some were shooting across and some were shooting down and going diagonal, and it was a big like meteor shower. And I watched that for a while. It wasn't too busy up there, but it was happening, you know, because at first I didn't know what, you know, was going on. So then I went in the van, and I was just about to get tucked into bed, and I thought I'd just stick my head out my window and have another little look. And from the sky came this red and orange flame. And it looks like way, way over, but not far from where I was. And it looked like it hit somewhere, but I couldn't hear anything, and I couldn't hear anyone else say whether they saw it. But it was just as I looked out. It came out of the sky diagonal, and it was huge, much huger than the big stars that I'm seeing, and much, much huger than the meteors or whatever, the showers, the star shower. And it was massive, and it hit the ground, and I've been looking out of my van window when I'm lying in bed, looking at the moon waxing, you know, and getting bigger and bigger towards the full moon. And, you know, thinking of my manifestations and writing them down, and, you know, getting right into manifesting. And, but all the time I'm thinking, but Mercury's in retrograde, so I'm sort of putting everything in the cart, you know. I'm not purchasing anything. I'm holding on to my money, and I'm glad I did, because now I don't know what's wrong with the car. So, anyway, I fall asleep. This is the night Yeah, there's always going to be interruptions, no matter what I'm doing these days. Whatever I'm doing, there's an interruption. And I just keep moving onwards and upwards, eh? I'm just trying to ignore it all and just stay high vibrational and don't get frustrated by it. Just ignore it. Just ignore it. That's what they're going to do. That's what they're going to do. What can you do? You just got to keep being yourself. So I fall asleep and I have this dream. And this dream, I'm on the top of the hill that I just walked up with Tully that day. And quiet, Tully, don't worry about him, okay? Like, really? There's another dog. This is a dog-friendly motel, and there's another dog staying here that just started barking just as I'm trying to do the video. So, I'm sick of just not doing things because they're trying to interrupt me. But it's hard to keep focused, It feels like proper spell work sent towards me, but anyway, let's just ignore that. And what I do is that's what I do. I just keep making the videos and block it out, I can't think of the words, because that's what it just feels like. It just takes all my whole mind away, but I really know this dream really well. So I'll just get back to the dream. So in the dream, I'm up the top of the hill that Tully and I just walked up that day. And I'm at the top of the hill looking towards the town that is above, with all the mountains around it. They're not mountains, they're hills. And beside me was a bear, a big brown bear, not a koala bear, because koalas aren't bears. This was a big brown bear. We don't have him in Australia, but he was here, standing beside me. And he was sort of like, do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. He was just all, he's all cool, He wasn't ferocious. And a white horse. And the white horse was white and beautiful, shiny white, and he was this side, and we're walking along, and as the evil, comes towards me, as the evilness, tries to surround us as we go for a walk down the other side of this mountain, or this hill that I'd walked up. The horse, he felt it first, and I could feel the horse's heart. How they have that sense of knowing, they can sense a heartbeat before you can see what's there. The horse already senses it. And I felt it, in my heart. The horses sensed it. And then the demons come closer, and the bear turned right and ran, and scared all the evil powers that be and their demons away. So this, we're working together, and we're all feeling each other and how we feel. And I look around, and I look to Tully, and Tully is walking along on his back legs, and but he's a cat. Like, he looks just the same, but he's got this cat face, and he was so cute and beautiful, and he had a crown on, and it had purple stones in it, and this golden crown sat on my Tully dog that is a cat now, with a golden crown with purple stones on it. And he had on, like a garment, like a cotton, or linen draped garment, and he's walking along all cool behind us, towing behind us, looking all deadly, and I was thinking, he's just so beautiful. Look at him. And then when I turned back around, I'm standing in between the big brown bear and the beautiful shiny white horse. That whole town had turned into an ocean, but it was a calm ocean, and we was at the edge of it. And I looked, and I could see myself in the ocean, and I was a cat, right? I had all this red hair, but I had all hair, and had cat features and whiskers, and I still had all my long red hair, and I had on this beautiful dress garment, and it had like a bit of a hood on it. And as I looked at myself in the ocean, it was changing colours, this dress. It went from gold to purple, to dark blue, to light blue, to green, to yellow, to orange, to red, and it just kept changing colours. It was this light Merkaba dress. That's what it looked like. And we all swam, and I kept looking back at Tully, and he was swimming like this with his crown on and his deadly linen garment, and we're all swimming, and we're swimming, and we're swimming. And we get to the land, and we come up out of it, and we walk up, to these caves. And these were massive caves. They were giant caves. They were dragon caves for the dragons and the giants of ancient times. And it looked like someone was living there, because there was a campfire out there, and it was done all deadly too. It had all the rocks around, and then it had little rocks tucked in so the air couldn't get in. But there was all ashes. It was all just ashes and coals, So someone had just recently, and I was thinking, is someone still living in that cave? And who is it? And then from the ashes came this golden dragon, and it was the phoenix rising. And that's us, our blind beloveds. That's us. We've gone through the shift, and now we're the phoenixes rising from the ashes, to the golden age. There's no stopping us now. They're going mightily hard to stall us and to put, obstacles in front of our manifestations. But it's all just illusions. Just let them. They're going to be how they're going to be, and just you keep at your same high vibration. And that's where the dream ended. And then I woke up the next day. Yeah, so I think it was more closer. It was in between. I think it must have been the day after the full moon. The day after the 8/8 portal. So it was the night of the full moon that I had this dream. And I woke up and I was proper angry. So that's when I just packed up my campsite and I came into town and I decided I was going to the caves. You know, I'm going to the caves. I'm the Phoenix Rising and I was just drawn to the caves, but I don't know. There's a reason behind everything, you know, so I don't let it bother me. You know, what will be, will be. And I always say it's all for my higher purpose. You know, it's all for my highest good. Whatever happens is all for my highest good. So just have a clear, positive, loving mindset, you know. Anyway, I'm Little Hope. I'm living in love and not in fear. I'm having a blessed and wonderful golden phoenix rising life. I hope you are, my beloveds. And hey, stay beautiful.